Welcome to episode 176 of the Concealed Taco News Podcast.
Woo-hoo. We are not dead.
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
But yeah.
At least with you.
Yeah, so today we have me, Taco.
Jason with Concealment Solutions.
We've been, both of us have had lots of stuff lately.
It's just life.
Sickness has been plaguing my household.
Yeah. It's just been life. You guys know how it is. But we're back, and we're happy to be here, and hopefully we have a decent show for you.
All right.
Let's knock out our sponsors.
Let's go Black Ice Coatings.
Black Ice Coatings? Okay.
Yeah.
Black Ice Coatings at blackicecoatings.com. Find them on Instagram and Facebook and
their website. But yeah, Lee does great work. He does the best gun finishes, and sometimes he'll opt for the, I wouldn't say random project, but like unique project of, like dipping a climbing helmet or a bike.
Or a bicycle frame.
Yeah, just don't ask him to do like a Yeti cooler, right?
Yeah. We got in trouble for plugging that.
Yeah. So.
I've been there quite a bit actually recently. I finally got my daughter's parts down for her AR build. Picked them up on Friday, I think it was.
All right.
Or no, it was Monday. Red Roses, Hydro Dip, and Teflon. And I just brought the box of everything.
Yeah,
like my complete build.
Pieces, and then
mags were in there. Stuff that he didn't need. But I'm like, here's just everything. We want Red Roses. Other than that, you can kind of do what you want.
Yeah.
So I picked it up, and it's got like the mag release and stuff like that, and the trigger guard, some little details.
Oh, so you picked it up?
Oh yeah,
it's finished.
We haven't put it together yet.
Oh, okay. So you need to.
I think we're gonna start it tonight. Me and my
nice.
daughter. But anyway, a lot of those little accent pieces, gold.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that's cool.
It's Teflon black barrel and other components. The stock, the upper, the lower. I think even the mags are in Red Roses, and then there's gold accents. I haven't even looked at all the parts. I haven't even.
How does the gold
everything.
Look for Cerakote?
It looks pretty dang good.
Does it look really goldish?
It's very goldish.
Oh, I should get like a complete AR just gold.
No, if you're gonna do that, it has to be an AK.
AK, a gold, a fake gold AK.
Do the Arab thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's got some texture to it, so it doesn't look like it's gold plated or anything like that.
Yeah, but
that might be partly just because of the part that was finished. That might be the texture on the part, not necessarily the Cerakote. But yeah, excited to get that put together. But Black Ice Coatings, check them out. Call them up if you need something. Tell them you want it slickery. And yeah, they do good work. Awesome work. Yeah.
NOE Bullet Molds. NOEBulletMolds.com.
Yes.
The best and finest bullet molds on the planet.
Yes. And I've just picked up all my Air Force stock pieces, the machined aluminum ones that Al machined for me and that Lee at Black Ice Cerakoted for me. So they're all back in stock. There was a while where I couldn't ship airgun stocks because I didn't have the aluminum pieces. They're all done. I have plenty, and I'm shipping them already. So if you've been waiting for an airgun stock, you can get one.
Nice.
But yeah, as well as bullet molds.
Yes, bullet molds. They have just done a run of the mold mallets. Those are the things that look like lint rollers.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the best, like, little sprue cutter, sprue whackers.
Sprue whackers.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
Whack your sprue.
My sprue whacker. Anyways, check them out. Use coupon code FLT001. It'll save you a few bucks.
Yep. Utah Air Guns at utahairguns.com. I was just there yesterday.
Oh, yeah? Did you get anything?
I didn't. I was kind of looking for a pistol that hits a little harder than the Diana. But there's no middle ground with the pistols.
Yeah.
You know, there's the inexpensive stuff like the Diana Bandit and the Benjamin Marauder, which I have both of those.
Yeah.
But then like the next step up, you're like $1,000.
Yeah, they have that. There's one that's a German-made pistol, and it's really cool, but yeah, expensive.
Yeah.
The other one, I haven't seen them
There's
much. Go ahead.
Is it the Hudson? I think that's who made it.
Oh.
It's not regulated, but it's got 2 tanks on it, and it comes with a stock. It's kind of cool.
A pistol with a stock?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's what my Marauder is.
Yeah. But the Russian ones, I guess they probably aren't importing to the Ed gun.
Oh,
They
had one on the shelf.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how much importation is being done right now with all
well, they were
the
expensive
conflict
before.
with Russia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then there's always, the weird configurations of the, what's the one you got? The FX, the
Dreamline?
The Dreamline. They all different ways you can configure that one. I think they were showing me at one point like a pistol version that they had played around and built. So,
interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, lots of stuff.
All kinds of fun stuff over at Utah Air Guns. So check them out, utahairguns.com. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook. And when you're ready to order, use the code AIRCANDY. You get free shipping and free turret stickers. Mag holder, magholder.com. Horizontal mag carriers, they're awesome, super comfortable, very convenient, and they fit a crap ton of different ones. The cool thing about them is they index on the same point where your gun grabs the magazine when you insert it. And so you get a good positive click on. There's a couple that are more of a friction fit, but for the most part, they're all, custom fit to your mag. And they click in, good retention, awesome product. Go check them out at magholder.com. You can follow them on social media as well. Use the code GETINTHEVAN and you'll save a few bucks that way. Concealment Solutions at concealmentsolutions.com. Your one-stop holster shop. We've got everything.
Nice, everything. You can buy anything there.
Just about. You know what? With the new showroom, I'm getting more and more product there. And some of the things that I'm adding, I've been carrying the BPS knives for a while. Good quality budget knife.
Yeah.
And
then that combo set with
the ferro rod. Yeah. They're awesome.
And the little knife sheath.
Super popular.
It's like if you have a gun guy or a knife guy in your life, like a father or brother or whatever, husband, for all the listeners out there.
Mannish sister.
Yeah, actually my sister would love one. She took like a survival class at college and
nice.
Learn how to make a fire by rubbing sticks and stuff. And so she would actually, maybe that'd be a cool gift for her. Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
But anyway, in addition to the knives, I did a gun show out in Vernal recently, of all places, and it was awesome. And I made 2 really good connections out there with knife guys. One, a total custom knife guy. I'll talk about him a little bit later with what we did with guns and knives. And another local guy, Utah Knife Works. His stuff's imported, but a lot of it is stuff that he's designed. But I was looking for folders. I don't have a good EDC folder, and he's got some stuff that I really like. So I haven't been able to reconnect with him because on his way home from the show, a highway patrolman flipped a Yui in front of him on the freeway, and he totaled his car into the said highway patrolman.
Oh, geez.
Last time I talked to him, his car was still in Duchesne with all of his inventory.
Oh, dang.
So he busted some ribs and's got a concussion, and he's kind of out of commission. But that's something to look forward to in the future. But in addition to that, I'm starting to work with a lot more custom knife makers that are sending me knives for custom sheaths and stuff like that. And that has led to me having some really unique, one-of-a-kind custom knives for sale in the showroom. So there's some really good stuff They're from Eric Fritz. I think I've got 2 of his EDC blades that are really nice. And a new guy, Rugged Mountain Blades.
Okay.
That guy does some amazing work. I've got 3 of his blades for sale. So anyway, that's just something. I'll post more pictures. If you're following me on Instagram or Facebook, you've seen some of the stuff that I've done there.
Coupon code.
Coupon code is Show Me the Candy.
All right.
And you'll save some dollars that way. All right. Where do we want to go first? I've got a couple news stories because they're very similar.
Let's go ahead and hit what we did with guns.
Okay.
So,
do you want to start?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start. So for me, I have been, like I've mentioned previously, I've been playing around with casting slugs, 12 gauge slugs.
Oh, yeah.
And I got that a couple new presses. So I got one is the Mech 600 Slugger, and it's made just for doing slugs.
Oh, interesting.
And so that should be. I've been just kind of. It's weird because when you do shot shell stuff, it's just not as kind of precise.
Yeah.
But yet it's more sensitive, or you're loading at way lower pressures. You know, around 10,000 instead psi or whatever, instead of I don't know, 50,000 or whatever you're loading for, right? And so, and you're using faster, basically pistol powders, or fast burning powders. And so just I've been reading a ton, and I got some 7/8 ounce slugs. My first loads loaded up. Yeah. I still have yet to get out.
You haven't pulled the trigger on one yet?
Yeah, I think we're gonna pull the trigger on a break action first, just like a cheap break action single shot. Yeah, sure. And then after that, if it doesn't blow up, then we'll throw it in one of my. I bought that one Turkish shotgun. Yeah. So I don't want to test it in the M4 or the AK or the lever action. Yeah. I'll just do the kind of more generic semi-auto one. Sure. And see how it goes, and check for
official shotguns.
Yeah, check for pressure signs. It should, as far as I can tell, it should be a lower pressure load. Yeah. But it's always nerve-wracking when it's your first loads in doing something for the first time.
Right. So. I imagine you've followed a recipe. I don't know what else to call it. Mm-hmm. From somebody who's experienced, or from a book or whatever. Yeah. So you should be pretty safe, I would think.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Because you're starting on the safer end of the spectrum.
That's what I'm trying to do, is get some more lower recoil, lower pressure, slug and buckshot. Yeah. Because I think that's where it seems like it'd be the funnest with some of those shorter barrel shotguns. Not short barrel shotguns, but 18-inch barreled shotguns. And so I also want to load up some just regular, maybe skeet loads, but those, I got to find a way to get shot, cheap, or cheaper than, cheap enough to make it worth it, right?
You're not just going to make your own?
Well, that's another.
Drip the lead into the water.
Yeah, I could do that, but then it's a whole nother setup.
Oh, I know.
Everything. So
I'm just surprised you haven't already gone down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, money is a limiting factor right now. Yeah. So. Huh. But yeah, so I've done a bunch of shot shell reloading, researching all that stuff. I've been playing around with some zinc stuff, and then some 20 practical. Okay. And I got a barrel that I ordered months ago, and I had almost forgot about it. But I got this. It's a 20 practical barrel for an AR, and it's big, fat, and heavy. Yeah. And it's funny because big, fat, and heavy 20 cal, and so if you're 30 cal, then the metal still isn't quite as thick, because you got a bigger hole going down it. But it's a tiny hole. And it's a lot of metal. I probably should have gone with something maybe a little bit smaller.
Lighter.
Yeah, lighter profile. But at the same time, the purpose of this is to kill stuff.
Yeah.
So, shoot it from a tripod and, set up, do the kind of the prairie dog towns or ground squirrel places. So I'm hoping to have that all set up, built and, ready for this, squirrel hunt I go on every year, in the late spring, early summer.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'd love to test that, and then also try and get some footage, with that camera.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That would be cool.
So I've done a bunch of other stuff, but
okay.
Go ahead. What have you done?
So, first thing.
Oh, did I mention that I bought one of those Dagger micros?
Oh, you didn't.
Okay.
I should have brought it back to you. It's in my safe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And we both have shot it.
Mm-hmm.
And it.
What do you think? It's just like one of the Glock.
Yeah.
Glock,
I mean, it's like, okay. It wasn't super exciting. It was, it's a good gun.
Yeah, it's like a gun that works, and it's small.
Nothing wrong with it.
Small, and it holds a decent amount of ammo, like 15 rounds.
Yeah. I did notice they haven't advertised it yet that I have seen. Hasn't been promoted or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But Palmetto does do, and there was only one listed on the website, a full...
Golden AK?
No.
No, dang.
The regular Dagger. Remember how when I got my full size, I complained that it had the same size barrel and slide as
so so they have a
they have a long slide version, and I was
long slide of what?
Of the full size. The full size Dagger.
Okay.
Now has a Glock 17 size slide on it.
Oh, okay.
Instead of a 19. And I got kind of excited about it and thinking, okay, I should order one. And then I got thinking about it, and mine has a threaded barrel, so it's the exact same length barrel.
Yeah.
It's just a little more slide. And they don't have a threaded barrel version of it yet.
Okay.
But I think that's all coming. I did see something, I think it was on Instagram, where they have a new Dagger that they're releasing. It's a competition Dagger.
Oh.
And it's got, flared mag well, it's got a flat face trigger, it's got a whole...
How much? What's the price?
They didn't say. They went through and they're like, this is the one we're dropping first, and it's color, and there was some that had like camo patterns and stuff, but they're listening to their market.
Yeah, they've actually done a pretty good job at doing that.
Yeah.
And in general, Palmetto's been pretty much killing it with everything.
Yeah, they have. So anyway, some cool things to look forward to from Palmetto.
Oh, I was gonna say I ordered one of their their fancy AR triggers.
Oh.
And so
one of the drop-ins.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're dropping.
Yeah, they've had some
like $90 or something.
Yeah, they've had them on sale for 89 or 99.
Yeah, it's like $89.
Yeah.
So I ordered one of those. Actually, one for me, one for a friend.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna try it in our 9mm ARs.
Oh, okay.
I know that they say that it is compatible with their Gen 4 BCG for their 9mm, but I want to just try it in one of mine that's already built and then see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll just throw it in one of my ARs.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's what the other guy was going to do too. Throw it in his 9mm AR, and then if it doesn't work, then just throw it in one of his other ARs.
Yeah.
Seems like you always have a spare AR that has a crappy trigger.
Oh, sure.
That you could make it better. So.
Yep. All right. Moving on. So, moving back to my Smith & Wesson Model 10-6.
Yes.
I took it to an acquaintance, a customer. The guys over at Wasatch Defensive Shooters Association, I think is what it is. WDSA. Anyway, the guys who run that organization have been customers of mine for a long time, and I've donated to their matches and stuff like that. And anyway, Aaron over there is the one who is responsible for me buying this gun.
Yeah.
Because he brought, I think his was a Model 66.
And he showed you how nice his was.
Yeah, so I went to his place recently, and he helped me go through the trigger. I ordered a competition trigger spring kit. It was like $40.
Uh-huh.
It was like nothing. And we went over there, we opened it up. He showed me how to do everything. He did most of the work. But, he'd be like, okay, I'm working on this here. You take this stone and just rub it right here, And so we stoned it. My gun is stoned now.
So you're an official stoner?
Yes. Yeah. But anyway, we tested the trigger pull, the single action trigger pull before and after. The trigger was really pretty nice.
Yeah.
And when he was looking at this gun, despite the little bit of pitting and kind of the rubbing on the cylinder in one spot, he was looking at this and he's like, I don't think this gun's even had 500 rounds through it. And I was like, okay, sweet. It shot nice before. I had no complaints about the trigger, but I thought, I know this guy. It's going to be cheap. Let's make it even better. It's not a gun I'm going to ever carry for defense or anything like that. Anyway, so we hung out, talked, buffed and polished, and put these springs in and everything. And we went from a 2-pound single action trigger pull, or a 3-pound, trigger pull to a 2-pound trigger pull. And the double action is way smooth. I mean, and like I said, it was nice before.
Wow, that's pretty good for.
I mean, that gun's almost 60 years old.
Have you shot it? Like,
no, I don't have any ammo. I need to come over and load some stuff up. But for $40 and a couple hours.
No, that's cool.
Now, granted, I could not have done this without him.
Yeah,
and there was a lot more that he typically does on his own guns that he shoots competitively with and stuff like that. And we didn't go that far on this, and we didn't need to. But I'm super happy with it. I was impressed with how much nicer it is.
Yeah, it's very smooth. The double action's really smooth.
It's super smooth.
And that single action is like really nice.
So I need to load up some ammo and go shoot it again. Just get some rounds through it and everything, and then it's going to go to Lee for Teflon.
You're going to Teflon it?
Yep.
Like just the outside or like
Yeah. I don't want to touch anything on the inside. Huh. And the case hardened hammer and trigger aren't going to get touched. I want to keep that. But I got to do something to prevent the pitting and stuff from getting any worse. And I could blue it, but that's just boring to me. I know. You're thinking I'm blaspheming.
I think you're like half crazy, but then,
Have you seen a Teflon coated revolver?
I did. Mark did that one.
I thought it looked awesome. It looked like velvet.
Yeah, anyways, that's crazy.
But it's not, I mean, this gun is never going to be something that's super rare or high value or anything like that. It's a shooter.
Yeah.
And I like it because, it's got that goofy giant grip, which I got to sand some stuff out of it and rework it, but
yeah.
I don't know. If you guys think I'm crazy, let me know. It probably won't change anything, but anyway, so I did that. I acquired a new gun. Well, I shouldn't say a new gun, another gun that I worked in a trade. And this one is a little more unique than that one.
So, my 2 cents, I would actually just leave it how it is.
Well, the word I got from gunsmith extraordinaire Gene is if I don't do something on that pitting's just going to get worse. And that would be a shame.
Yeah.
And I mean, talking with Aaron, he worked as a cop and deputy for years and years. He's like, I can tell you exactly why that gun's that way. He's like, it was sitting under somebody's driver's seat. He's like, that's where we found those all the time. It was sitting under somebody's driver's seat in their car. I went,
geez.
That makes sense. Because it's just a little bit on that one side in that one place.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was...
Oh, dang.
So that is an 1889 Colt New Army, chambered in 41 long Colt.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The timing is pretty bad.
Yeah.
The barrel's pitted pretty good.
Are you going to shoot this thing?
I was hoping to. I brought that when I got the Smith & Wesson when we worked on the trigger, and I had Aaron look at that, and he loved it. He's like, this thing is awesome. He's like, my advice, he's like, I wouldn't shoot it. He's like, I don't think the timing's good enough, and the barrel's kind of pitted.
So the problem with the timing is, well, timing / lockup, right?
Yeah.
It's really loose.
Right.
And so depending on where
if it's
the
not
cylinder,
if it's not perfectly lined up,
then it's going to shave bullets, and you might get some lead splash back in your face.
or if it's off enough, it'll blow it
up. Yeah, true.
Which isn't worth risking. But what's really cool about it also is it's got period vintage mother of pearl grips on it.
So are they
that did not come with the gun.
So, but they're period.
They are. I mean, if you look at it, you can tell those have been on that gun forever.
Yeah.
So, here's the other thing that's really unique about this gun, my research that I've done on this. And all you listeners, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I am no expert on revolvers, as you know. But the research that I have done, that is the first production revolver that had a swing-out cylinder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, for the listeners, after I checked it was cleared, then I shined a flashlight down the barrel and then not spun the cylinder, but wiggled it back and forth. Yeah. I would not shoot this.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm disappointed in that, and it's not worth restoring.
No, it's just a cool one.
Right.
I think.
But here's the thing. So knowing what you know, 41 Long Colt, first production revolver with a swing-out cylinder. It's 1889. Mother of pearl handles. What would you estimate the value on that gun?
Oh.
And the
since
bluing's
you own
pretty
it,
much the
then I would
bluing's
say
pretty much gone.
I'd say maybe like $1,000.
Okay, because you know I'm cheap.
Yeah, that's that's the whole reason.
I have yet to understand why this is. That gun in the condition that it's in is worth about $250.
Oh, really?
If it was in good shootable condition, it would be worth about $600.
So just a lot of them made.
Yeah, and it's a 41 Long Colt, which apparently nobody cared about, even though it was Billy the Kid's favorite caliber. And Billy the Kid, it's also one of the early double action guns. I don't think it was the first one. It wasn't. It was I think the second or third model that they did that they called a self-cocker, that you could just pull the trigger and it would fire. Yeah. So it's got some unique history, but yeah, for some reason it's just. But that's the value we put on it when I traded for it.
$250.
Is $250.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm not into it much, and it's going to be an awesome wall hanger.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Really cool to look at. Really cool to handle.
It would also be cool if you found some brass.
I have loaded ammo for it.
Oh, you
already.
have loaded ammo?
Yeah, it came with.
I was gonna say,
like 20
in
rounds.
a display case, you could make some dummy rounds.
Yeah.
And then throw those in the display case with it.
Already there.
Yeah.
Just need to.
But like I said, I would not shoot it.
Yeah.
It has way too much wiggle.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're looking like a millimeter of bullet,
right?
That's gonna slam into the
Yep, I get it. I was hopeful and talking. I sent pictures to Gene. He's like, "Oh, that's a really cool gun," and we talked about it. And he was like, he's like, we could get it in shootable condition. The barrel's pretty rough, also.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like, what's the point? What's the point in spending the money? And
it's cool to say, hey, this was made. This is over 100
it's a piece of history. It's a piece of history, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, got that. Let's talk a little bit about my knife maker friend Gene over with Rugged Mountain Blades. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you've seen some of his stuff that I've posted. He came to me with a pair of knives that he made. I could refer to them as the twins because they're a mirror image Damascus steel mirror image knives. Beautiful. And he does this finish on them where the steel is black, and then the Damascus, it's actually in this knife copper, is super bright in it. Very cool, very beautiful knives. He brought them to me. I need a sheath for this that carries both of them together because he wants to sell them as a set. It would be pointless to sell them individually.
Yeah.
But he's hoping to get some big money for these. talking about selling them to a knife gallery in Park City, and brought them to me. I need you to make a sheath. And I'm like, gee, what am I going to make for this thing that's not going to just, as soon as somebody buys it, they're going to take the knives out, put them on stands, on display, and pitch the sheath or put it in a drawer or whatever, And when I set up my showroom, I'd ordered some clear Kydex. Those of you listening, do not ask me for a holster made out of clear Kydex because it's not strong enough for a pistol. For a sheath, it's plenty strong enough. It has a
Is it more brittle?
It's more brittle. Yeah. It's more brittle. It doesn't hold up well with the weight of a gun and stuff like that. But it's kind of ideal for a high-end knife that you don't want to hide.
Yeah.
And realistically, whoever buys these knives is probably not going to use them. They're going to be more of an investment and a showpiece. And so I built this sheath, a double sheath with a stand to display them so that whoever buys them can show them off. It's a fully functional sheath. It's got a belt loop on the back. So it's kind of designed to where you can reach behind your back and draw both knives at the same time. So if some crazy, rich, eccentric dude buys it and wants to carry them, he can.
Nice.
But anyway, I was really happy with how that turned out. And I've been going to be doing a lot more joint projects with Gene. He has zero interest in making sheaths, which is great. He needs to focus his time on what he does best and let me focus on what I do best. And we are becoming a pretty good partnership on stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
So there's more things coming down the pike involving Rugged Mountain Blades, but check them out and follow them. He just does some really beautiful, beautiful stuff. And he's got some really nice functional pieces also that are beautiful, which I happen to have a few of them for sale if you wanna own something that Gene has. And he's kind of new to the knife world, so right now his stuff is a little bit cheaper than it's going to be. I think his stuff is going to become
once
very
he built
desirable.
His name more than people.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to get as much of his stuff as I can right now because I see what's coming, and I'm excited for him, and I'm really happy to be working with him and that he trusts me with his stuff. He gave me a knife at the gun show in Vernal. That was the second time I'd met him. I'd met him at Blade Show West in Salt Lake in October, and we kind of talked briefly, and then he didn't have any business cards, and so I forgot who he was, and I think he lost mine, and then we met again at the Vernal show. I was like, hey, I talked to you. He's like, oh yeah, and we reconnected. Anyway, he gave me a $700 knife. Here, make me a sheath for this. Just handed it to me at the show, took it home with me, made a sheath. Yeah, so
that's crazy.
Pretty cool. That's really about all I have done lately. I've been super busy in the shop, and yeah. But yeah, you want to jump into some news stories?
Yeah, let's.
I have two because they're very similar. A concealed carry license holder stopped a man trying to rob a jewelry store this morning before the thief could take anything. The employee pulled his gun and shot the offender in the buttocks 2 times, one for each cheek.
One on each side.
As he was trying to get away. Now, there's the only problem I can see with this.
He's shooting him while the guy's trying to get away.
Yeah. He tried to escape on the train. Stolen cars are the preferred method in Chicago, but he was going to jump on the train, but fell into the passenger car, and that's where the cops found him. I don't understand what's happening there exactly. Anyway, this happened right before lunch at the Chicago Landmark Diamond Center in the middle of the shopping district of the Mag Mile. If you're familiar with Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. I don't. The police took the employee into custody, but no reported charges have been filed yet. That's the difference being in Chicago versus other places when you defend yourself with a firearm.
Yeah.
The store employee fumbled for his gun, and I can't stress enough the need to get training and practice on a regular basis. This is in the article. The number of self-defense shootings in Chicago that have occurred this year is definitely outpacing last year. CCL shootings are already in the double digits, and that's not good for tourism. That's what they're worried about.
They're worried about
so
self-defense shootings.
Exactly. Self-defense shootings
are bad for tourism.
So people with a concealed carry license, shootings are going through the roof because they're issuing permits finally.
Yeah, and so people can actually defend themselves.
Right. So my question is, what do these guys think would be happening if those guys weren't shooting back? Your murder rate would probably be going higher.
Yeah, it'd turn into... Well, I mean, Chicago's already bad.
Right.
California's bad. Like,
right.
All these places are... New York, they're all kind of like a joke. I don't know how people could live there where if you defend yourself, you are the one who gets...
criminal.
You're the criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they've decriminalized all these
everything.
crimes, like violent crimes too. So people just get put out back on the streets. There's the no bail reform, all that stuff is just throwing them right back on the streets, and then they get to do what they want.
Yeah. Well, I had somebody in my shop, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but I remember the conversation very distinctly. This person was going to California on a business trip, and we were talking about carrying, and so I'm like, well, what do you do for self-defense when you're in a place like that? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you can't carry your gun. He's like, I carry my gun. And I'm like, really? And I'm thinking, you're crazy. You're going to get thrown in jail. He's like, carrying a concealed weapon in California is a misdemeanor.
Really?
Yeah. So he's like, I'll take that over getting shot by somebody any day.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, okay. I'm not recommending that. And you look into that yourself if you decide you want to do something like that. But so he's kind of looking at it as like, well, the criminals are getting off easier. So if I do something that they consider criminal, I'm getting off easier than if I try to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Anyway, next one. What began as a regular workday turned into a chaotic one at Geneva Jewelry at Canyon Crest Town Center in Riverside. Another jewelry store robbery. At around 11 a.m., so middle of the day, Saturday, two robbers wearing masks and hoodies followed a customer into the store and began smashing the display cases with hammers while loading up the merchandise into their bags. So they just...
Smash and grab.
There's video footage of this. Yeah. Just walk in, smash, grab. They walked in nonchalantly and just pulled out the hammers and started smashing, employee Michelangelo Torchia told this news company.
Yeah.
It was super terrifying, but I mean, we are pushing through. Torchia's father was working at the counter when the suspects entered and began smashing the display cases. That's when he walked over to a back room and retrieved his firearm. First of all, you shouldn't have to walk to a back room.
Should be in the front room.
Yeah.
On your body.
What if they had guns?
Yeah.
He then fired several shots into the floor to scare off the thieves. Now, what's interesting about this is I was watching the video footage and the news report and everything. There are definitely bullet holes in the front windows.
So he shot the floor and it deflected out the front
They didn't
window.
look like deflections.
Oh, so he didn't shoot the floor. He was shooting at the guys.
I don't know. There's a conflict is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the information in the news story and what I saw on the video footage. It says, once they got scared, they fell to the floor, Michelangelo said. They ran out. Surveillance video from inside the store shows multiple bullet holes that damaged parts of the store. Witnesses said the suspects had been casing out the area before the robbery. They opened the door, stuck their head in, and looked around and ran, said an employee of a nearby business. Torchia says this isn't the first time his father has been robbed. During an incident in 1992, he was tied up in a chair by thieves. Torchia and the other victims are hopeful there will be tougher consequences for those who are caught committing robberies. Good luck. Pretty sure this was in,
California.
This was in Riverside. Yeah.
So, yeah, and it's crazy because, like, there's all those videos of, like, since they decriminalized...
Shoplifting.
Yeah, so basically you can just
Take what you want.
Take what you want under $1,000.
Yeah.
I think something like that.
Yeah. You get people who get caught and they walk right out the same day, Torchia said. You can't do much about it. It's a lenient system. Torchia adds that even though his family is shaken following the robbery, he is thankful that no one was hurt. Authorities say this is the second smash-and-grab robbery in Riverside since New Year's Eve. The Riverside Police Department is still searching for at least 2 suspects who remain at large. So, middle of the afternoon, in a shopping area in California, in Riverside, California, you can walk in, smash up a jewelry store, take stuff, and leave, and they can't find you? That seems ridiculous to me.
Yeah, probably just no effort. You know, it's like...
We're worrying about other things.
Yeah, there's...
Yeah, well, and honestly, if you're a cop out there, your hands are tied, and there's so much that you have to do that you have to prioritize, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like triage, right? In a battle scene, triage, that guy's a goner, so we're leaving him. That guy, he's not going to die anytime soon, so we're leaving him. This guy's in rough shape, and we can probably save him, so that's who we're going to give our attention to. It's kind of the same thing. You got to pick your battles. It's like, well, those guys didn't hurt anybody. You got insurance, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous. But that's more and more what our system is leading to. And
well, a lot of the shops are just closing.
They are. And there are a lot of big retail corporations that are pulling out of California.
Yeah. Just like, you know,
Target and Walmart, I think, have both shut down stores in California.
Yeah. And
why wouldn't you?
Yeah. What's crazy too, so I've watched some of those videos, and instead of crying out for the people to, you know, decry the criminals, like say, hey, stop robbing these things because you're making it a harder life for us who live in the neighborhood. Instead of doing that, they just say, oh, it's all racism and stuff. Yeah. It's like, are you guys crazy?
How is this racist?
How you guys are...
I watched a video of a black woman in Walmart that got caught shoplifting. I don't know what state it was in, and she was huge, and there was a cop there trying to take her away, and she was just laying on the floor so nobody could move her, just yelling, Walmart is racist! Walmart is racist! I'm like,
oh
what
my goodness.
is our world coming to?
Oh, jeez.
You know, they probably had to get a forklift to get her out of there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It is.
We live in this bizarro world.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, and the people who are leading the charge to decriminalize everything are the same people who want to keep the guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind.
What's going to happen is
Civil War.
Civil War. What's going to happen is you're going to have a rise of vigilantes.
Yeah.
Because if the cops aren't doing anything and the laws are not doing anything,
people aren't
then
getting
you're going to get some people who are going to stand up for themselves. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me if you get some like masked superhero who goes and shoots a bad guy and then runs away.
They've had that. There was a guy, and I can't remember.
I know they had the real superhero guys like who would they'd patrol around. And, yeah.
Well, there was a guy that used to, I believe it was in New York City on the subways. And New York City is a lot better than it was like in the 70s, believe it or not.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
They brought in the National Guard to the subway. Well, because there's so many murders and everything going on.
This guy, that's what he took it on himself to ride the subway and to take out bad guys and to protect people. And I believe it went on for a while, and he kind of tried to stay anonymous, I think, but you can't, you know?
Yeah.
And I think the authorities basically told him, you need to stop or you're going to be arrested type of thing, which I guess you can't blame him for that, but... Yeah,
but that's what happens when laws are not enforced. Right. Then there's going to be some guys who just say enough is enough, and then you're going to have, air quotes, problem of vigilantes. So.
Yeah. Well, and the scary thing of all of that is I believe there are fewer and fewer people. Well, I should say this. There are more and more people who I don't know how to say this, who are fine being a victim or even want to be the victim. That's their MO, is I'm the victim, like we see in so many of these cases. And fewer people that are willing to step up and not be a victim. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. I think most people that are listening to this podcast are in that category of I'm not going to be a victim. And really, who knows what any of us is going to do when the time comes. Until then, we can all talk as much as we want. But when you're in the moment, things are different. But, if you have that mindset of, I'm not going to be a victim, I'm not going to let people take advantage of me or my family or whatever, and run those scenarios through your head, that helps you to better prepare for a situation when it does arise.
Yeah, it's true. So, yeah, it's crazy. The world's getting to be, you think it's crazy, and it just keeps getting more crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then the people who were labeled as crazy, like the preppers and stuff, it's more like common sense. Like, oh yeah, that was pretty wise to do that.
Yeah. Well, perfect example of that type of thing. Look at all the people who screamed and yelled at how racist Trump was because he wanted to build a wall and protect the border. Those same people now are screaming and yelling, we need to protect the border.
Yep.
You think?
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't understand how people couldn't see this coming.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's like so much crazy. But yeah, so I guess do what you can do right now to protect you and your family and be prepared for crazy. As
much as I am so disgusted by our political system and feel that my voice is futile in many ways, I still vote. And I still vote my conscience. I will not vote party line. I will not vote for somebody just because of who they say they represent. I do my best to vote for people who I feel have our country's best interest in mind. That list is almost non-existent.
Yeah. I wish we had more representatives here in Utah who had more of a backbone.
Yeah.
To not just,
they're all playing the game.
They play the game of I'll go and protect things and whatever and be conservative, but then when it comes down to it, they don't want to offend anybody, and so they don't do anything.
Right.
I actually contacted our representatives. Yeah. And gave them GPS coordinates of a place down by Payson where they have these. Of course it's not suspicious. They're white buses or black buses that all have Texas license plates that come and they only unload, like they're doing their unload or whatever at night. It's like 10:30 or 11. Yeah. And, it's like, we know what this is. Right. Everybody knows what it is who sees it. Yeah. It's all the trafficking of the illegal immigrants or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. From the Texas border. Yeah. And the government's paying for it. Yeah. It's so blatant. Well, but then I contacted, the representatives, said, hey, do something about this. These are the GPS coordinates. This is what's happening. And then you just get the generic response. It's like, thank you for contacting the offices of such and such and such and such. We appreciate your whatever. Yeah. And yes, we believe our stance is blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Human trafficking is bad. Yeah. And if you want to sign up for updates, then, sign up on our website. It's like, you fools. I mean, it's really irritating. You can't, and so people are like, all this crap and crime and everything's happening, even in Utah. And everybody's too spineless to do anything. Well,
Before it got bad, okay, I have a niece who's gone off the reservation, as we say. Anyway, she was married to a guy from, I can't remember exactly where he's from, south of the border. We were over there helping her with something one day, and she was all upset because Uncle so-and-so got deported and da-da-da-da-da-da. This is so terrible and da-da. It's like, oh, when did that happen? It was last week and da-da-da. I'm like, oh, so like, where is he? Oh, he's back. Less than a week. He was deported, and less than a week, he was back in Utah.
Yeah.
That was before it got easy.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, okay, so why are you upset? I mean, you got... I mean...
Yeah.
I was upset after that.
For a different reason.
Right. But, yeah. And here's another angle on how screwed up our country is on so many levels. Forever, I have said, and I've probably said it on here, we need to make it easier for people to become a citizen of this country.
Yeah.
If you want to be a citizen of the U.S., and you can prove that you are going to be a productive citizen, you don't have a criminal record, you don't, you have gainful employment, stuff like that, you can at least get by with the English language, that kind of stuff. We should make it easy for these people to become citizens.
Oh, yeah.
That's who we want here.
Yeah. Let's choose who comes rather than take
everybody.
All the people who come.
And on the flip side, ways. If you're in this country illegally and you're committing crimes, you're gone. I don't care how many times we have to ship you out. You're gone, Yeah. And I don't care what family situations are going on. If you're committing criminal activities in this country and you're not here illegally, which is a crime, you should be deported right away.
Yeah.
Get this. I have neighbors from India. Awesome people. Love these guys. He has a master's degree in, cybersecurity.
Okay, yeah.
So, kind of a smart guy. His wife has multiple degrees, like master's degrees in chemistry and all these kind of stuff. Probably two of the smartest people in Utah County, if not the state, okay? I was over their house and I was talking to him, and they've got a son that's my son's age, and we were talking about stuff, and he is always worried. He's worried about leaving the country for any reason. Okay, he has a really good job here.
Yeah.
Just so you know. He's gainfully employed. They bought their house. They own the house 3 doors down from me, 4 doors down. Okay, they want to be U.S. citizens. And I asked him about it. He's like, it'll never happen. I'm like, what? I mean, I know it's kind of complicated and it's kind of expensive, but he's like, no. He's like, that's why I have to continue to go to school, is because that's how I have a visa and I can stay in the country. As soon as I stop, then I'm gone. They ship me out. How does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it's like stupid.
It's like, yeah, and he was talking, and he may be playing up some fears that are beyond reality, but he was talking about, whenever I travel, when I go back to India for whatever, he's like, I'm always worried when I come back in the country, if that customs agent is having a bad day or whatever, he can just put me back on a plane back to India. He can just tell me, nope, we're not letting you in.
Yeah.
Like...
And then he needs to go to Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just walk right in.
Right. And then you take a government bus.
And go wherever he wants to go.
Yeah. But anyway, makes no sense to me, Yeah. Unless, if he can prove that he needs asylum, like if I go back to India, I'm going to be killed or whatever, then he can get citizenship that way.
Yeah, but even now, Anyways, we don't need to keep going on this, but it is frustrating that we live in some crazy times. So it's just a reminder to always...
Common sense doesn't exist anymore.
Always.
I knew it was rare before, but it's completely left.
Yeah, but it goes back to always be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared for crazy.
Yeah.
Because crazy is crazy, and you never know when crazy's gonna happen.
It can happen in a heartbeat.
Yep. Well, antil next time, stay safe. Have fun.
Thanks for putting up with the ramble.
Yeah,
Take somebody shooting and be nice to people.